All right, now we're live. So it is 9:45 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, which is my time. It is, what is it, May 28th, 2017. It's Memorial Day, Memorial Day weekend. So happy Memorial Day. And first of all, I want to give a big thank you to our military, to our armed forces in America. Thank you for fighting for our freedoms and giving us the chance and opportunity so I can have hangouts like this and talk about religion because people like you fight for our freedoms. Topic for today is Christian conspiracy theories and how there seems to be a link between religiosity or even more specifically Christianity and conspiracy theory. So I have my panel here. I have Bill Cipher, AJ, Christian anarchist, Al Chihuahua, Thaddeus, and myself. So have at it.
Well, where do we start exactly, and who goes first?
Yeah,
Anybody.
you didn't
It's a free
clarify.
it's a free for all. But I guess I would start and I would say I would agree. I definitely do think there is a very common thread between Christianity and conspiracy theory today, modern Christianity. I don't see conspiracy theories really coming into the role of the original Christianity started from like the apostles or like St. Paul.
Wasn't too many conspiracies back then, apparently. Anyhow,
Yeah,
they didn't have the internet back then.
No. I think I would say that these conspiracy theories and stuff like that they started coming around more in like I would say like the 1800s. I would say like the earliest conspiracy theory I can think of that Christianity or Christians have fallen for is younger creationism.
Oh, you actually consider that like a conspiracy theory? I thought it was just bad science, but okay.
Well, some people, like I remember, I forget what his name was. Jesus is Savior or something.com. Is an old Earth creationist, and he actually like considers
David J.
young Earth creationism to be like this mass conspiracy theory set up by the New World Order or something to make Christianity look stupid. So to convince people to not turn to it or something like that. And he's like, proof. Celebrity Matt Damon makes this comment about Christianity based on young Earth creationism. Like, oh,
dude, let me tell you,
that's something. It's
that
like the time
website,
I've heard that Christian rock is full of rock bands are nothing but atheists just because of one former Christian rocker's statement and his opinion on things. Now every people is like, all Christian rockers are just atheists in disguise, and I'm like,
oh man, you know what? I discovered that website back when I was Christian. And boy, did that screw with my head. I was pretty young when I found that website. It's been around for a while.
yeah.
It's like I think that was one of my first. That was like one of my first introductions, I think, into like the whole world of like the Illuminati conspiracy theories.
And to that, I feel sad for you.
You too, man. It happened to me too. I can tell you, I know exactly where I was at.
I was like, bruh, that is insane. Because this is back before I really looked into it to see how much of it was just, I guess, crap. But at the time, it did seem pretty convincing, and that did kind of scare me. So some of it still does to this day, because I haven't been able to debunk all of it. But
well, yeah. I found that website when I was like in 9th grade. I remember where I was at. I was at school, and I was just looking into like I think I typed in Christianity and different religions, and that website popped up, and I went and I was looking at it, and I was in a computer lab at my school, and almost like I would say like almost every day I would look at that website and I'll look at a couple other websites. I mean like I know like Matt Slick stuff is bad, but like I wish I would have just like fallen upon Karm or something like that.
Yeah, that would have been the good thing.
Yeah, that would have been a little bit better. Cause I don't know if Matt Slick really gets into like the Illuminati conspiracy stuff, but it would have just saved a whole bunch of like time and energy. Because now I'm just like, yeah, like all of this stuff is stupid.
Yeah, I don't think he buys into this stuff because I remember, like I mentioned with the whole rock thing, the guy that tried bringing that up to me once, we actually tried bringing that up to Slick in a Skype call once. We invited him in. They had a discussion. Ultimately, it boiled down to Matt being called a heretic who needed to repent because apparently one of Matt Slick's favorite bands is Korn. which that took me for a little shock, is that was actually a favorite band of his, and I think he even said he saw them in concert at one point. So
Yeah, that
then,
would throw the David J. Stewart type people off.
but you, at some point after that, it's just these people. Great, I just got distracted because I almost crushed my charger. What was I saying originally?
Something about these kind of people.
Before that,
I don't know. Probably some sort of other
Yeah,
broad generalization.
Nestle, Corn, David Stewart, Fundies.
Well, yeah. So I mean, he's, like I said. With that being said, I mean, I don't think he's really into the whole conspiracy thing, because most of these people are just they're mostly people that want to just be into the whole end times thing, and so they're going to be willing to make any connection. And as you pointed out, I mean, this started out very early. I mean, you have the Millerites that had this whole thing about it would come in 1844. Then the Seventh-day Adventists tried to keep that alive as this whole thing, and their whole movement is practically based off a big conspiracy theory about the government trying to change the Sabbath to Sunday and then make it a mandatory worship and something, and that's going to be what brings about a prophecy of some sorts. And
Okay.
and now it's just really becoming a big thing for other movements out there. I mean, you have the whole Pizzagate thing that got really popular for a while back. Then you had
stuff.
you have the Alex Jones Network.
Oh yeah.
Infowars. They thrive on various conspiracies that they could find to make themselves celebrities. Jeranism with the flat Earth stuff, and a bunch of other the flat Earth people today. Even like if you take a look at any flat Earth video, I mean, I found that my Michael Heiser video that I posted got a lot of views, only because I had things such as Heiser and flat Earth in the title. I was just getting mostly like spam comments. So, but that's the thing. But none of my other videos are getting like 100 or 200 views, while this one's gotten like 15,000. And that was just so I can share some information with people from someone who's actually an expert on the field. But it's that crazy, is that all you got to do is, like the Flat Out Elected group, just be dedicated to the flat Earth content, and boom, you're going to start getting a lot of subscribers. And especially if you're wanting to get that moolah with donations, you're going to start reeling that cash flow in. You know what I'm saying?
Shoot, if I didn't have a conscience, I'd like start like a flippin' flat Earth channel and get like a whole bunch of views and stuff, because that's how easy it is if you want subscribers and that, especially with certain movements like that. Like there's just certain topics in general on YouTube, not just stuff that's to do with politics, religion, but just things in general that you can just hop on that bandwagon. And you're kind of guaranteed to get a whole bunch of subscribers and stuff. And Flat Earth is one of them. And it's one of the easiest ones to get viewership and a following from.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
It's kind of sad, actually, when you think about it. Flat Out Elected, that channel gets more attention than I think even Wayne's does at times.
Well, and it's because people either just enjoy the troll fest and they're in there, making out with other trolls and all that stuff, and it's a big slobber fest in there. And then just some people are actually gullible enough to buy into it, and they have to watch this clown show along with the big mass troll makeout session over in the right side corner. It's just
but even that is going away, because some of these flat earther people, they have harsh moderation. So even if you disagree with something, you're not even trying to troll. It's like you could easily just find yourself deleted from the live chat. And it's like there's no point. Mm-hmm. Whatever, move on with your life.
Yeah, that happened to me and a couple people. I was invited by Arcane into the Flat Out Elected hangout. Was immediately booted out. I didn't last 5 seconds in there. It was because some of the people didn't like me, and then Arcane's like, "Yo, why'd you run away?" I'm like, "I didn't. One of your people kicked me out." And then they tried getting a one-way apologetics in there, who's actually who disagrees with my take on like the Middle Eastern cosmology view, and thinks like the Bible is actually not just a polemic against.
One way changed his view. He isn't a younger creationist anymore. He's an older creationist. Because the guy I debated alongside Kent Hovind, Peter Cordy, that's my buddy.
Mm-hmm.
he just changed his view too. And so when Peter, because Peter in one way they basically run that ministry together, and so like he's a part of the ministry.
Yeah.
And so when Peter changed his view, one way changed his view too.
Mhm.
And yeah, like now one way has walked away from the cult of younger creationism. So I'm happy about
Well,
But
I wouldn't. I personally don't go as far as to say that as much as I'm objected to some of the claims, but I mean, even then, I mean, with the right, yeah, I mean, like as I was saying, one way is currently trying to make like a big hour-long documentary refuting some of these claims, but he was invited a while back before then, and this is kind of, I guess, what started the whole flame was that he was invited onto Flat Out Elected's hangout. I think he only was in there for an hour or two before they were like, you know what, he's got to go. One way, Russ has got to go. We got to kick him out of here. And so
He's being an apologist for Nassau.
he's being an apologist for NASA.
No, you're not. No, you're not. You're not saying it right. It's Nassau because that's like the
Nassau.
Hebrew word to deceive. That's what it
Nassau.
stands for.
No, it's Nassau.
Yeah, but he pronounces it
Apparently, I'm
Nassau.
Grant Campbell. I don't know much of the Hebrew. Blah.
It's like, dude, it's an acronym, NASA. But okay, go ahead.
I did the same thing actually with because Rose Patton, who's in the same thing, like she made the whole conspiracy that ISIS is not a Islamic organization, but rather it is because this is the thing where I can tell Matt was definitely not involved with these conspiracy things because he was invited into Rose Patton's hangout for like 10 minutes
Yeah.
before she kicked him out. I think it was Scott from Positively Godless that invited him in because
That's like standard around there.
Because he sometimes hangs around.
Yeah, the fact he could last longer than I can't even get in the room, it's like that's insane.
But like,
it's like, what are you doing, man?
But he was like talking about that ISIS is like a big problem. Is like, yeah, but they're not like they're just a tiny problem compared to like the big issue that goes on. They're nothing. It's like. And so she just dismissed the idea about them persecuting other Christians and stuff. It's like that they're not just this Muslim group. They're like this. Is like, do you know what ISIS stands for? And she said, Israeli Secret Intelligence Services. And then he's just like, am I being trolled? Is she trolling me, man? And then after that, she kicked him out, and Scott was like saying, why'd you kick him out? And she's like, because he was telling me that I don't effing know my stuff. I know what the F I'm talking about.
Oh, really? That sounded so sure.
So because like her clip was like trying to point out that the Israeli Secret Services or something wanted an acronym for their thing, kind of like how we have CSI for Central Secret Intelligences and all that stuff. And they said they came up with theirs as the Israeli Secret Intelligence Services, which stands for ISIS. Now, here's the problem. I tried pointing the analogy that let's go with the NSA. Well, then there's also another group called the NSA in I forget where the state is, but it's basically the name of the cooking culinary arts there. But like there's different groups that use the same exact acronym.
ISIS is not an acronym for anything, though.
Well, it is.
I thought it was the name of like a Egyptian god or goddess or something.
No, because if that's the case, then ISIS would be a terrible name for a Muslim group to use, since they reject polytheism. It's basically stands for Islamic State of Iraq and Syria.
I just thought it was kind of weird that they called themselves that because, like, hey, that sounds Egyptian to me. So I didn't necessarily think it was an acronym.
Yeah, and it's also been sometimes referred to as ISIL, which is the same thing, but I think they also include Libya in there. That's what the L stands for.
Okay. Well, I thought it had to do with Egyptian stuff, but I guess it doesn't.
Well, then, as a thing, it could be part of the conspiracy of the Mandela effect.
Oh no, that's like one of the dumbest conspiracies ever. Like, you think Flat Earth is dumb? At least Flat Earth kind of makes sense, and it's like I can kind of see it. But Mandela effect's like, no, you've lost me.
Well, Mandela effect could be true if you accept Tom Theory A, right, where you can go back into the past and change stuff and do stuff, whatever. But like as we know, like that's not possible. So I'm a Tom Theorist B.
To me, like the whole thing of them bringing this one up. But then again, actually, technically, I don't think we can count that as a conspiracy theory because like conspiracy is like if people gather around and make something. But here's, I think, another thing that especially the Christians want to point out: if they're going to be this consistent about conspiracy theories, and they're going to be going this deep and skeptical about it,
Better bring a tinfoil hat. Sorry.
well, not just that, but I mean, why not then apply the same to the Bible if you're going to be that skeptical? Because you're basically applying the same level of skepticism, because people have always made the claim that for the New Testament, at least, I'm not sure what the criticism would be on the Old Testament, but the New Testament, that after Jesus died, at least this is what some of the people in the Jesus seminar and such would sort of propose, is that the disciples then came together, and in order to create their idea of a Messiah and such, they came together, conforted this story known as the Gospels, and they would basically try to write their own and make the story about the resurrection and all this stuff that happens to gain popularity and all that stuff.
Well, surely you know that just because you believe in one conspiracy theory doesn't mean you have to believe in them all, because some of them literally contradict each other.
Right,
if you
but that's
believe in
the
like
thing,
the whole
though,
UFO thing, it's like, well, and you also believe in flat Earth, and you believe that space doesn't exist. It's like, where are the aliens coming from?
But the thing is, a majority of them
Unless you believe that they're
will
demons or
buy
something.
a majority of them will buy into almost any of them as soon as they hear the enlightenment part, because they feel that they are so enlightened by one deception that they believe, well, I can believe from these other guys, these other theories, because I mean, if they already deceived us in one area, it's most likely they're going to deceive us in every single area ever. And so
I don't know. Just I guess some of the main conspiracy voices around YouTube and that. I mean, say what you want about their crazy ideas and that, but some of the ones I've seen that at least they've been somewhat consistent. Like they might have a weird way of looking at the world, but it's like it's not like every single conspiracy theorist that you come across has ideas that completely contradict each other. Because if they don't accept space net at all, they usually don't accept, the reptilians and all that as well. Because that would go with the assumption that space is real and stuff if you're going to believe that reptilians are aliens. Otherwise, if they do accept that, it's some sort of weird sort of quasi, well, they're not really aliens, but they're actually demons and all this other stuff. But, yeah.
My idea is just simply that not that they're being inconsistent or not, because I can imagine some of the people you've met have consistent ideas.
Yeah.
But they, at the same time, though, if their approach at this level of skepticism about the government and other kinds of conspiracies is at this level, and these people are Christian and they're holding this view, then why not hold the same level of skepticism towards the Bible when it has been used as a means of, authority and power and control in the past from different countries and different timelines? So why not then just make that same skepticism if then you go about it with the government and presidential leaders and such and such?
So, I mean, I guess what I'll say is that I wanted to share it before is that when I'm glad someone brought up what was it? Jesus is Savior.org or whatnot.
Yeah, JesusIsSavior.com or something.
Yeah,
.com, whatever.
David J. Stewart.
Yeah, I'm glad.
I don't know how.
I'm glad someone brought that up because again, that was like my introduction to a lot of the conspiracy theories and stuff. And it's like, let me just say this: it's like I also don't think that some of these conspiracy theories and all that, like there's a YouTube channel, even I agree with it. It was you no longer post anymore, which is kind of sad. But the YouTube channel is called NWO is Bunk. And he basically made the case with a lot of his videos. I think there's a video called Conspiracy Theories Are Bad for Your Brain or something. And he basically made the case, and I agree with him, about conspiracy theories. And he basically said in one video, where it was like his testimony about how he got out of conspiracy theories or whatnot. I can't remember what it's called off the top of my head. I don't know, maybe you can link it or something. But what ended up happening is he said that for some of these conspiracy theories and that in the end, it's like it felt like it kind of came down to like a fear sort of thing. So It's like So it's like when you believe this kind of stuff, it's like a lot of people say that, oh, it empowers them, or that. Like, I'm not afraid because God's on my side or whatnot. And he's kind of making the argument saying, I can't remember his exact words, but he was saying, like, no, it's like if you're saying some of these conspiracy theories, like they're so crazy in that you end up buying them. It's like you definitely are afraid, because if you're human, you have to be, and you actually do believe what it's saying. Because some of this stuff is like, it's like insane out there when you like really get down into like, the rabbit hole, as they say, when it comes to this kind of stuff. And one of the reasons that he gave it up is that even if some of these conspiracy theories that aren't true, it's like, I don't want to live my life in fear.
Exactly.
Like he wanted to be able to like enjoy his life instead of worrying about like, oh, the government's poisoning the water, and oh, this isn't safe to eat, and and these people are part of the Illuminati, and these people are part of the Illuminati, and all this stuff. It's like that could really mess with someone's head. Because let me tell you, when I looked at that stuff, it originally messed with my head. Some of it still messes with my head to this day. And some people just don't realize just how much of a psychological effect it can really have on people.
That's the one thing I've noticed, and it's funny that you actually bring that up, because it was in a sermon today at church that my pastor brought up a verse. I can't remember where it was at, but basically it said that Christians or anyone who believes in God is not going to have any fear over what's to come in life, rather it be anything too negative or anything that might bring harm. They don't have this kind of fear when they trust in God. And going to the idea of that Christians that buy into this whole conspiracy worldview of this, and this is the main objection I always have with them. Out of any other thing I try to bring up, this is the one key thing, and they refuse to ever talk about it, and they will just change it or dismiss me automatically. And that is that if you believe that God is sovereign, that he is everywhere, he's omnipresent, he's able to be with you at all times, and he's able to give you strength and comfort throughout any situations, then why are you freaking out over these things as if the government or the people behind the New World Order or whoever, as if they are more powerful than God and they're able to trump him over your ability and your decision in this conflict? You're acting like this is somebody we need to worry more about compared to God in your view, but yet you still claim to hold to the Bible. And they just immediately will say I'm a heretic or dismiss me or just ignore me or change the subject. It's either one of those.
You're a government shill, Christian anarchist.
Pretty much. That's the other one. I forgot to mention that option. I get called a shill.
Yes, because everybody's a shill. Everybody. I mean, even like your grandma might be a shill.
I'm getting paid. My paychecks are coming in very late, and I gotta complain to somebody.
Yeah, I know. I mean, Wayne, AJ, like how much shill money are you guys making?
Oh my gosh, I wouldn't be in college if I was making money.
There you go. Can't be too much of a shill.
Yeah.
I'm making money. I didn't know that. I'm making money that I don't even know about.
Well, if
maybe
I think I know how I can get my paycheck quicker. I just gotta sponsor the Illuminati better, so I need to get a picture kind of like what AJ's got. Maybe that'll get me the big bucks coming in quickly.
God, let me say this. Let me just power through this. Get this out of the way, because I've been wanting to say this for a long time, but I never really had the right moment. But now that we're talking about the topic and everything like that, and me and this person, we already had like a mini falling out anyway. But I just want to say that the Vigilant Christian, his YouTube channel, hurts Christianity. It does a disservice to the gospel. It does a disservice to society, and he is hurting people because a lot of people. I say this all the time. I say people who are somewhat mentally ill, they can sometimes, not in all cases, but you do get that minority of people who latch onto religion as a way to hide their mental illness. And the people who are on his channel are sick. They need help. And no, I'm serious. he is enabling these people with conspiracy theories, and he himself has even admitted to having a mental illness, which like nobody like what's the word? I guess we all kind of figured that was the case, and I'm not making fun of him, but this is why it's not healthy. It's not healthy to have these type of views and think that everybody's against you and like be so paranoid. That stuff, like you said, it can have a real bad effect on you.
Mm-hmm.
And he's doing a disservice to Christianity. Honestly, I would.
Yeah, people like him should make you mad. I wish more people would speak out against people like that, but they don't. It's like, oh, they're on our side, even if they have crazy beliefs. It's like, no.
No.
If I were
no.
Christian, I would definitely want to make response videos about this guy, like exposes.
Well, no,
Sorry.
I don't think like anybody needs to make like an expose video or anything. I don't think that will help anybody because then it would be a back and forth. But I'm right now. Yes,
You're not pretty entertaining like I am. I guess.
I'm scolding him because all right, like I made this point, like Ken Hovind, right? Like he makes money off of his conspiracy, which is younger Christians. Everybody in the scientific community is hot in the fact that the Earth is 6,000 years or whatever, and like his group of people are the only people that know, and that's how he makes his money. But once you start making money off of something, and you have a following behind you, it's so much harder to admit that your position isn't true. Now, the Vigilant Christian, even though he's already said this, so this is public information. He makes 6 figures off his YouTube channel. He has a pretty big following. If you go on my debate I had on his channel with Ken Hovind, it was about 30,000 people who viewed it. But if you go down the comment section, it isn't a diverse like comment thread. It isn't a viewer like, well, I think this guy was right and I think this guy was wrong. It's like if you keep scrolling down, it's nothing but either flat earthers, younger Christians, or people who think that I'm not a Christian.
Oh wow.
And you don't have any diversity. And so like the type of people who latch onto his channel are people who are sick, man. These people, they need help. And I'll even say when I was in younger creationism and I was in all this other stuff, I wasn't thinking right.
Yeah.
And like these views, they don't help people. This is why I say younger creationism, not only does younger creationism hurt the church, but younger creationism, it hurts people in general because it puts people inside of a mental prison. It's not right.
Yeah, and it's the same thing with other conspiracy views now as well. Like some of this other stuff that people get into, like, and they really get into, it's like that can kind of form a mental prison around them as well. Like some of these people, they feel like truth exposures and all that. But I think with some of these people, at the same time, it's fun to laugh at them, whatever. It's like at the same time, it's like you can't end up but feeling bad for some of them. I feel like the reason why they even do some of these hangouts and stuff in the first place, like especially the ones like, let's just say that she's not a troll. We don't know for sure, but someone like Rose or whatnot, it's like, if you think so many things are conspiracies, so many things are evil, just think of all the stuff that she feels she can't do or can't support because it has to do with the Illuminati or the devil or whatnot. Pretty much hangouts in that, maybe that's like the only thing left in her life that basically she feels like she can do. And she basically makes friends with other like-minded people. And that basically becomes her life because everything else is like so evil. I mean, think about it.
Yeah. That's why like
It's
I
just a
stepped away.
sad
Like
way
when
to
I
live.
got out of younger creationism, that fell away, and then the conspiracy theories and stuff kind of fell away too. Like it didn't just all happen overnight, but it all like the layers just started coming off. And like even today, right? So they're still going around like passing conspiracy theories about 9/11 and stuff.
Mhm.
And what I would like really recommend to somebody who wants to know if this stuff is valid or not, is look into detective methodology. I know skeptics, they praise the scientific method, which science is great. Science is cool, but I really think because what helped me was J. Warner Wallace. Because okay, let me go back. When I was looking to find out if younger creationism was true or not, I was looking for I was looking into how detectives solve cases because I wanted to have the right tools and I wanted to be able to think right when I was going through the evidence because younger Christians, they literally do brainwash you. With the whole I know Ken Ham's he calls it historical science versus observational science or something like that, right? Or historical science versus forensic
Observational science, and then historical science, So
Right.
spatial science is the one that we can observe. It's not very big.
Yeah.
Then you got historical science. You weren't
Mhm.
there. You weren't able to observe it. So that's why you got things like textbooks and history books, things that are
Yeah.
able to help us observe
Hmm.
what was there that we couldn't observe. You know what I'm saying?
That's right,
And then-
Ken Ham. Wait, how'd you get here?
Well, it's
Yes.
easy. All I had to do was
Yes.
ride the big slimy helicopter thing that Mr. Bill Nye made, and then I managed to get over here very quickly in the Jibberoo. A ride over here with what's his name, Russell Crowe.
So yeah, I was like that. Literally was my way of thinking when I was in younger creation. So when I was looking at the evidence, I was like, oh, we can't know about the Big Bang or this happened or whatever, because we didn't see it. And so I had to get out of that mindset. And literally, J. Warner Wallace, he's a Christian, right? And I didn't just trust him because he was a Christian. You know, I think his arguments for God are really bad, but I like his methodology behind it that he had to offer. Like, all right, I'm a detective, and this is how detectives think, and this is the methodology and the tools they use so they can find out if a crime, or who committed a crime and how it happened and stuff like that. So I looked into that, and basically my way of thinking switched. It was more like a trade for a trade. So I traded in my younger creations and views for detective methodology. And I would recommend anybody who's even if you're an atheist, because I know a lot of atheists, great with science, bad with detective methodology. I think when most atheists look at the evidence, instead of just looking at the evidence like a detective, they look at the evidence like a philosopher. Like, how do you know this didn't happen? And like blah blah blah. Like just look at the evidence and accept it for what it is. You can do that in science, but it seems like when it comes to history or whatever, like they're not really good at
That's
it.
why I like
But,
Jay Wallace's some of his apologetics on the
Yeah.
material, since he said he was a former police detective investigating like what was it? I think his field was homicide in the
yeah, homicide investigation, cold cases.
Yeah.
yeah.
Hey.
So he has a nice study on that on how to investigate these things as a detective, and he applies the same standards to the method about investigating, the historical Christ and whatnot.
Yeah, I like that. And so I would recommend anybody who's into like conspiracy theories, or even like if you guys know anybody, recommend his stuff to them. Like I think his it's not like he isn't so great and awesome. It's the fact that like this guy he was the only person I could actually like find out about the methodology, because I know a lot of times you got to pay for this stuff, or it's just not really out there. I was looking on like PBS, and like I downloaded a PDF of a detective handbook, but it really didn't it didn't get straight to the point. And so instead of just reading hours and hours of those handbooks, I just went over to J. Warner Wallace, and his methodology was pretty good.
I was gonna ask, since she's been pretty quiet, AJ, what are your thoughts on like this whole conspiracy stuff?
It's shit.
Oh wow.
Summed up in about the nicest couple of words you can get. But I think that'd be a nice thing to end the hangout on. It's like that, yeah.
Oh wow. I guess that sums it up pretty perfectly.
What you just said was the most insanely idiotic statement I've ever heard.
General, get out.
Jenna, what are you trying to do? It's like there's no one to argue with, so you just have to play devil's advocate now. We're all being
Yeah.
a bunch of yes men here.
I
I
like
mean,
being a troll.
Oh, you know what? Let me invite. Hold on, I'm gonna say who I'm gonna invite in the side chat, because mentioning this person's name is like mentioning Lord Voldemort.
Wait. You're gonna invite my. So you're gonna invite my secret lover? Oh wait, General Han Solo's already in here.
Oh my
What?
gosh!
Shanakis admitted it. This is glorious news. History's been made.
Yeah, how's that feel? Is that gonna make you, get off my back about the whole thing?
I finally feel justified. I'm now experiencing theosis.
Theosis, no, you shouldn't be feeling theosis. Just
Jenna, what's up with that? You didn't tell me about this Christian anarchist thing.
yeah.
Don't worry,
He stalked me for about a good.
my second power self is with you.
Oh,
No,
okay. I see how it is.
If this was Dragon Ball Z, I would like defuse right about now if we were doing a fusion. I have to.
So
we'd have to
It's
expand
okay,
our
Christian
power.
Ericus. It's
I'd
okay,
be-
Christian
I'd
Don't
Ericus.
know
I'd
that.
kick
That's-
your butt in kendo, General. I'd say that much.
It's okay. I feel betrayed right now.
Why
This
do you
is
feel
this is
betrayed?
interesting. He's gonna kick my butt with kendo, so should I? That's an interesting euphemism of you know.
oh no, you guys didn't even get to the honeymoon yet.
Here's the funny part. And this is
Better
kind of
not.
what made the general jealous. I don't know if whoever I think Thaddeus and I know General's been there, but I don't know about you, Wayne. But Sister Hipster that's been in my hangouts a couple times. I forget who it was that started it. Someone said, "Oh, y'all sound like y'all act like a couple." I'm like, "Nope, nuh-uh." We both was like, "No, we just friends. We just friends."
Totally.
But
Friends.
the more we said that, it got worse.
Yeah, that's the worst thing you could do after
No, I
someone
think-
accuses you.
Let's just say this: instead of questions on Ask CA, it was pretty much fans trying to ship us together or something like that. And I'm like, nope.
Oh,
Let's
boy.
just end the
Like, you got
hangout right
like what
now.
100 or so viewers playing matchmaker. Oh, that's fun.
I think I made it worse by reigniting it myself, so I apologize
Yes, you
here.
did, and I think I know why. You want what me and you to be reality, and I'm telling you now, it ain't happening.
Don't worry, Thaddeus and Wayne and AJ. I love you all equally.
Oh boy, hey, do you
Except,
guys know?
to be honest,
He's got multiple triangles going on now.
yeah.
That's not a triangle. That's like a very funky looking square.
That's
What are you talking about?
trans-dimensional.
Do I need
shit,
to
right?
eliminate some of the competition?
Trans-dimensional.
You talking about the Bill Cipher Illuminati triangle?
What?
Worse than that.
No, we're talking about the crap. What is it? The
Like a
little
love triangle.
affair that you, Thaddeus, and General and AJ are involved in. Like I don't know. General started it, so
Oh boy. But I should stop saying "but" because butt wipes. But
and that's probably the most randomest thing I've heard.
however,
But because butt wipe.
or I should say, moving on.
Moving on.
I forget what I was going to say. I was going to say, speaking about conspiracy theories and stuff like that, I do think there. I wouldn't say validity, but I definitely would entertain some conspiracy theory, like
Like the flat Earth.
like no,
Oh.
like
What?
have you guys ever heard of the OTO?
Nope.
The OTO.
Yeah, it's the hold on. It's Greek or something like that, or Latin. No, I'm sorry, it's Latin. It's Latin. I'm about to type it in on my phone. So the OTO was basically like a secret society or something like that, and it still exists today. Hold on. Is it coming up on my phone? Yeah, it's the Ordo Templi Orientis, or the Order of Oriental Templars. There you go.
Templars. Oh, I love
Yeah,
Assassin's Creed.
Templar. Yeah. So it's a real group, and supposedly now here's the thing. This is what I can't get behind it. It's a neat explanation, and I guess people are trying to explain. Well, how come music is so bad nowadays? How come people are blatantly coming out saying they worship Satan? Like I know in one of Fetty Wap's songs, 679 or something like that, they say in the beginning of the song, supposedly he says, "I'm a devil worshiper." I don't necessarily know. I can't make it out. I can't make out what he's saying. But people are like,
yeah, just
people are
look
like,
up on lyrics or something.
yeah, and so people are like are
Websites
coming out
that
and
do
like,
that.
how come there are so many different coincidences with these artists coming out saying something coincidental about Satan or Lucifer or whatever? Like I know, what's the guy? And I really do think his music is satanic. What's the guy who made Yonkers? Tyler the Creator. He makes extremely blasphemous music. He made one song talking about just doing wicked stuff. Literally, like in the wicked, in the lyrics, he's talking about he wants to do evil and stuff like that. And I do think, like, yeah, there really are rappers who do stuff like that. Like, Azalea Banks came out and said that she was sacrificing chickens, and she does witchcraft or brujeria. So yeah, like, sure, there are rappers who worship the devil, but do I think like there's like this secret society where they dance around like an owl and stuff like that, and like they like sacrifice women? Um, I don't, I don't know. I just don't think the evidence is there, so I don't believe it. But like for the evidence that is there, like sure, like Tyler the Creator, he probably is a devil worshiper, but I don't think it's like a big group of people who all conspire against like society and want us all to become devil worshippers and stuff like that too, because that's not how conspiracies work. Um, but
Yeah, I
if the
think
evidence is there, I would accept it. But it's like they draw a lot of claims and they don't follow, and there's no evidence for it. I'll give you a good one. I was watching a video, and some pastor was going on, and I actually do give these people the time of day. I'll listen to what they have to say. And he said that he believes that there's something called a casting couch in Hollywood. Vigilant Christian also promotes this idea too. There's a casting couch in Hollywood where if you want to be famous or if you want to be casted for a role, they bring you into the casting couch, and you got to do all these sexual acts on the casting couch. Only place I heard about that is pornography. They do stuff like that in pornography, right? And I don't have any evidence that this has ever happened in Hollywood, so somebody could get a role. I don't like I don't know if there's any stories out about this. I've never like this hasn't been like brought out to the public at least. So like how would they know this stuff? Like the guy just sprouted this out like it was a fact, but he didn't have any evidence to support it. And so like sure, like it sounds like a wild claim, right? Like, sure, like that could happen. Like they could bring people into this casting room and have sex with them. But do you have any pictures? Do you have like any testimony from anybody, speaking out against this?
yeah.
Um,
And even with some of the songs or whatever, the lyrics or whatnot, it's like how much of that is them actually saying that's what they do, and how much of that is like, dark imagery and shock value and stuff. Because some people also use like some dark imagery and metaphors and stuff when they're trying to rhyme and stuff. This is coming from someone that makes music himself, so I mean, doesn't necessarily mean something all the time.
well, you know what my explanation is for why people worship the devil, or why like even like Tyler the Creator in his song, he I'm not gonna lie, that music video from a Christian perspective, sure, it was demonic and blasphemous. But like, does that mean he's in like a secret society worshiping cats or like sacrificing cats and stuff? No, I think people worship the devil, or people even worship false gods and like go to false religions, and people have false beliefs, not because like there's some crazy conspiracy. You want to know the explanation for why this is? It's because we're human, and humans just do bad stuff. That's it. We're fallible, sinful human beings. That's the crazy explanation. I know it's not like really edgy or anything. It's not really, interesting, but it's the truth. We're fallible human beings. We do fallible stuff. People are sinners. And like, of course, like that's what sinners do. Sinners are supposed to worship the devil. Sinners are supposed to like come to bad conclusions because, we're sinners.
And again, even when it comes to like some of the stuff that's used in, lyrics and all that, again, I think it also depends on the context when it comes to lyrics and that as well. Because I think some people also do things for shock value. Because I know rock music used to do that quite a bit. There's a lot of rock bands and stuff that not all of them, of course, you're going to get some outliers that probably are legit into the stuff. I'm not denying that. But at the same time, I do think a lot of them do it for shock value as well. Especially because a lot of that is especially part of rock culture. And that could just be something that's being carried over into like another genre.
In hip hop and stuff like that. I mean, yeah,
Yeah.
that could be the case, but it really doesn't matter. And I say that not to just brush it off, but whether somebody's talking about like satanic stuff or whatever, metaphorically or literally, right?
Yeah.
That's what we would expect from people who are not Christians. Duh, like they don't worship Jesus, right? Like they're like we would consider these people, of course, like to be well, of course we're all sinners, but like I said, this is what sinners are supposed to do. Sinners are supposed to go out and worship the devil. Like that's what they do. People are supposed to hate God. Duh. Like that's like first grade theology. And like for us to try and make like this whole like conspiracy theory model around it to make it more interesting is disingenuous because it actually makes the Christian explanation for why people do these things less believable. Because like I thought like the Christian message is we're all sinners, we all have done something bad against God, and so we all need a savior. But now adding on to like this conspiracy stuff, it makes it more complicated. Like not only are we all sinners, but the reason why we all worship the devil is because we've been programmed to subliminally by these higher masses of Rothschilds and Rockefellers and stuff like that. And so it goes from like, yeah, you don't really need to understand Christian theology, but you do need to know who the Rockefellers are. What?
I don't know. I just think it's kind of a bit of a stretch to say that everybody that uses that kind of stuff is like a devil worshiper all the time. Like sometimes, yeah, sure. But...
Oh, all I would even say is like just follow where the evidence leads. Like,
yeah,
I would definitely say like Azalea Banks is a witch. Duh. She's admitted to being a witch. There's a video of her cleaning chicken blood out of her closet because she sacrificed so many chickens over the years and whatever.
yeah.
And so I guess
Not
she would
denying,
attribute her.
again, not denying people can be like that, but
Yeah.
every single
And
person
she
does
was.
something. Like every single person that does something a little bit weird in a music video, because then you're just going on the same. You might as well still be
No.
believing
But
in the conspiracy theories again.
yeah, but you do like that's what I'm saying. Like in her case, you have hard evidence
Yeah,
because she admits that she does it. But it's
yeah,
a little bit harder to like rule out who's a Satanist and who isn't when we don't have people admitting it. And we
yeah,
don't have a lot of people who are in the industry coming out and saying, hey, this is what they
yeah,
make me do. They make me sacrifice. But that's what you would expect. Like, for
yeah,
example, the whole thing with Ken Hovind and his bid about him being a con artist, people are coming out and they're saying, I
yeah.
work with Ken Hovind and he is a con artist. He is a swindler. We don't
Mhm.
see that a lot in the music industry. Not saying, there aren't people like that,
Yeah,
but just follow the evidence where it leads. And like life would be so much easier. But also like it's not really important because like that's basic Christian theology. Like not everybody worships the Christian God. Like, oh my
Mhm.
gosh, you just figured that out? You just figured out everybody isn't a Christian? Oh no.
I just think it's also a mistake to think that just because you have, I guess, dark imagery again means that you're a devil worshiper. Again, if they're out there admitting it, like you said, with the hard evidence, and yeah, I get your point. But I think some people also jump the gun too early when it comes to some things.
Somebody said somebody
Because
said I changed my name from Wildheart. Wildheart. Yeah, your name was Wildheart666. So you changed your username from 666 because everyone thought I worshipped the devil.
yeah,
Uh,
again, some people just like to be edgy. It's weird. I
well,
don't get it. It's not necessarily my thing to do that kind of thing all the time. It's fun every now and then, but I mean, some people take it to an extra level, and you kind of go, "Whoa, okay, is this guy involved with some stuff?" It's like he doesn't outright say it, but it's really easy to think that about some sort of people. And again, I'm not saying
yeah,
that this
but
doesn't happen, but
there's a difference between suggestive evidence and hard evidence. Like the evidence suggests, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. But when you have hard evidence, like we have hard evidence for gravity, we have hard evidence. Now,
yeah,
something that's suggestive is, I would say, from the new evidence we got, like, and I talked about this last week. The evidence suggests when we do evolutionary repeats in labs, it suggests that us humans being here is inevitable. But it's not hard evidence. It's suggestive. We could infer it, but it's not 100% deductive.
yeah,
So
and
you have to be
that's basically what I'm saying. I'm saying that some evidence that some people look at for some of these artists or whatnot, and some of it is hard evidence or whatnot, and then there's some that is more implied or you don't really know for sure because again, when you're making a song or whatnot, a lot of people end up exaggerating stuff anyhow.
Right.
But
Right.
again, I'm not denying the whole whatever that person's name is that is the witch or whatever. If they're actually doing stuff outside of their music and they're actually showing it off and coming out and saying in interviews and stuff like that, then yeah, sure, that's I think that's more credible. But if it's just something, if it's just one throwaway line in a song or some creepy stuff in a music video, it's like you don't know for sure. That's more implied evidence.
Right. And so what I noticed with these conspiracy theories, like Visual Christian Mario, he's made an entire career off of suggestive evidence, but he barely has
like
any hard evidence.
Stuff.
Right. And they take the light stuff and they screw it all out of control.
Yeah.
And that's how like cults and stuff are made, and that's how people come to these false beliefs. But also, like yes, I'm gonna say this again. Yes, there are people who do stuff like that, but we shouldn't like let that consume our lives. Yes, we know there are people who worship the devil, but like the Bible even says, like anybody who isn't a Christian, of course, their father is the devil. So I mean, like, it's really taking things like to a level where it doesn't need to be, because it's sort of like irrelevant. It's taken away from the end goal.
The way I see it, and this is the thing that bugs me. It's like, okay, yeah, sure, there are people who worship the devil. You know, I as a Misotheist, like I understand there's people that want to go so far as to basically deify that kind of hatred or whatnot and say that they worship the devil and actually do this whole whatever supernatural things that they do. But it's not everybody. And the conspiracy theories really make it seem like every single artist or whatever out there is doing it. And if they're this popular, then they're with that crowd. And it's like, that's a really ridiculous kind of claim to make. It's like, are they all doing it? It's like, I don't think so.
No, they're not all doing it. But even like, so I got my list up from last week, and like, again, I'm going to read out a list to you guys about how conspiracies work. So conspiracies usually happen with a small number of conspirators. It's a small number of people. It happens within a short time span. Like, people have not been conspiring to take over the world for the last 3,000, 2,000 years.
They could have done it already by now if they wanted to.
Yes, they definitely could have. Like, we all should like just be slaves. They're not like setting up for like the next 70 years or whatever, so they can microchip us all and put us away in the FEMA camps. Not gonna happen. They also need to have excellent communication, and along with having excellent communication with each other, they're all going to have some type of familial relationship. So they're going to be really, really close to each other.
And also, artists are really close to each other. What do you think about that?
Yeah, because obviously the rock artists know all of the rap artists, right?
Go ahead.
Then the last piece of the puzzle is there's going to be little or no pressure to confess. So obviously, like with a lot of things on the internet like it is today, a lot of these people would have pressure to come out and just confess it and just like flaunt it and say, I'm taking over the world, so what? But that's not what you see. I mean, like all right, so if what these conspiracy theorists were saying is true, there wouldn't be as much information about the conspiracies out here on the internet. Because with that being the case, these conspirators would be pressured to come out and admit it because it's so open to the public anyway. It's like if I did a crime and this information of my criminal act is out on the internet for everybody to see. Just by everybody knowing that I'm the person who committed the act, right? People will be calling my phone, sending me emails, coming up to my door, trying to get me to admit it. So from the information being so available to the public, the pressure is on. But that's not what you see. Like, their feet are not really being held to the fire. Maybe because there isn't a conspiracy. I'm just saying.
Yeah, I'm just saying the whole thing with artists, and that I can kind of speak from someone who is creative, and I'm pretty sure AJ can too because she draws and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
It'd be kind of a weird bunch. We get inspired by some weird things sometimes. So sometimes, I'm capable of creating some pretty dark art. It doesn't necessarily mean that necessarily defines me as like a person or, or a Satan worshiper or something. And I'm not saying that applies to everybody. Like, again, I understand if there's hard evidence, there's hard evidence. It's like if they're doing stuff outside of their art, it's like, yeah, you might want to be a little questionable. But at the same time, just to reiterate, it's like some people are just, I guess they just like to be edgelords. But
Yeah.
Yeah, it's sad. And yeah, like fear does motivate these people. But you know what else motivates these people? There seems to be a real lack of and I say that because that was the case for myself when I was in younger creations. I just didn't know stuff, and I wasn't afraid of the unknown. I just didn't know how to get there, and so I'm happy I found the tools to how to properly investigate things and like um it knowing something, it can be like I guess detrimental to like your ego or whatever. But you know what's even better? Like I know there are a lot of things we don't know, but I also do know that we have tools to help us to get there. But these people don't have the tools because I'll say this right out. People like the Vigilant Christian or what's the other guy's name? His name is David Icke. Isn't he a conspiracy theorist? The guy
yeah,
who
but
made the
he's not on the Christian side though. He's more of like a spiritualist conspiracy theorist person.
Well, yeah, but like all of these people, like I would see these people as gatekeepers because they're shielding people away from true information and true knowledge. Um, I mean, the Vigilant Christian a couple of days ago, the conspiracy theories are so bad. Not only does he think there's something going on in the music industry, but they think in all spectrums there's a conspiracy with everything, and everybody's just trying to kill off society.
Like
There was a
film,
machine.
TV, music, like it's
No, but
big pharma.
even medicine. So
Yeah, big
there
pharma.
was there was a contraption made in my area. So I live in Philadelphia. It's no big secret. And at the Children's Hospital in Philadelphia, they made a new mechanism or it's a machine that can give birth to premature lamb. They haven't tested it. No, I'm sorry, a premature goat. So they were able to give birth to a goat without the help of a mother's or without a biological goat. So it was an artificial womb, and so this artificial womb gave birth to a goat. And the reason why this was good was because the artificial womb was able to give more nutrients and able to benefit the health of the goat, the womb of the biological goat. And so the premature goat had a better fighting chance in the artificial womb. So the Vigilant Christian came out with a video and he said, "Oh, this is bad because we're going to use this so we can clone people and blah 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 and like this is evil. People are playing God. This is bad." Now, you know why I thought that was stupid? Because I happen to be one of those babies that was premature. I could have used a machine like that because I could have died. I had 3 operations when I was born, and of those operations, I still have the scars. So for him to say something so like conspiratorial like that, imagine if I were a doctor and I landed upon his video and I bought into the conspiracies, and then I said, "Oh yeah, like we can't go on with any more testing like this. We need to destroy this thing." Like you're helping. You're helping in the case of not furthering us in science, and that would actually hurt a lot more lives than save them.
Mm-hmm. And again, it's sad when there's a conspiracy theory that those are the ones that make me the most upset because it's like the ones that are closest to you. Because again, when it comes to something like that, where it's a machine that could have saved you, and then you see some basically practically like dissing that technology, understand like it's a big emotional response. And it's kind of the same thing when it comes to the whole, I guess Illuminati and stuff in the arts. Like, that's probably why I feel so personally about it, because I do that kind of thing. And it's like some people that, look at this stuff from the outside and assume all these different conspiracy theories about it. It's like, dude, you don't have any idea how artists work. And it just kind of bugs you because it's like you're reaching out to this big audience and here's a bunch of people you're basically shielding from, potentially good entertainment, even stuff that I could create just because you've basically muddied the waters by saying, here's all these other people that are evil. Let's say that, with my music that I become a little more mainstreaming that down the road. It's like, shoot, let me tell you something. If TVC ever makes like a video about me, you're not going to see the last of that. So I'm going to be so mad if you start taking things out of context and stuff. Because I hate being misrepresented. It's like a huge pet peeve of mine.
Yeah, I think we've given these people enough airtime as is. We've been on here for like, what, an hour? So I'm actually going to call it a night, but thanks for coming to my hangout, guys. And like I always say, until next time, good luck and good night.